Yo guys, it's Rumbling Man coming to you today, and I would like for you to go ahead and say goodbye to your tuning problems and your string breakage problems, because today we are looking at a simple and affordable product that can very easily change all that for you guitar players out there. So make sure you stick with me. So guys, I welcome you to the show today. Thank you so much for being here on my YouTube channel. We just hit 7,000 subscribers after several years of doing this, and so I'm really honored for the growth. I've also received a lot of very encouraging comments from you all lately, which is the reason that I'm even here making a video today, to be honest with you. So thank you so much for coming along. I know my voice may sound a little hoarse right now. Just ignore that. I had to sing and play all weekend, and so sometimes on Sundays and Mondays, I am not talking my best. But I'm going to do my best to tell you about this product because I really want you to know about it. And I'm going to demonstrate for you how to use it. I'm going to tell you a little bit of its history and what it does, because this is going to help you out. This is Big Ben's Nut Sauce. And it's a product that I've been using for a couple years now, and really, it cuts my tuning problems in half. And I've heard of people who use like Strats with a floating tremolo and had tuning issues before when using the tremolo bar, but with a little bit of this, they are using their tremolo bar without tuning issues. Imagine that. It's a very powerful product, and it's a simple formula, non-toxic. It's a clean formula. It doesn't, contain anything that's going to stain your instrument or anything like that. It's totally healthy to use, and by applying this to the places on your guitar of contact, the places on your guitar that have contact with the strings, for instance, the nut, hence the name Nut Sauce, string trees on the headstock, if you have those, or even the bridge saddles. That's really all we do here. We apply this to those surfaces. Now, there is a right way to go about it, which I'll show you, but we apply this to those surfaces and we simply watch as our tuning stability dramatically improves. If at any point during this video you decide you're ready to take the plunge and order some, I've got a link in the description of this video where you can go on and click it and do that today. I think it's only around $15, maybe less. It's not an expensive product, and one tube is going to last you for months. Big Ben's Nut Sauce is the guitar player and the guitar tech's secret to staying tuned and even to ending string breakage. In addition to these two main things, there's a lot of other stuff that it can do for your guitar. It'll improve your sustain, it'll stop wear at the bridge and nut of your guitar, and it'll honestly improve your guitar's overall playability just by simply applying this to a few key spots on your instrument. Nut Sauce was originally invented by a guitar player named Jeff Massey, and Jeff was frustrated with his guitars not staying in tune. He was doing a lot of big bends on his strings, things of that nature, and over the course of several years he developed what we today know as Big Ben's Nut Sauce. And over a 10-year period, it was actually developed. The formula was developed, the tube for application was developed. It's a well-kept secret, but it's a secret that I want to help turn to slightly bigger knowledge, because I literally think that every electric guitar player needs this in their guitar case at all times. You need to use it anytime you've changed your strings. And even for acoustic guitar, even for nylon string classic guitar, even for bass guitar, whatever stringed instrument you're using, this will help you out and will improve the performance of your instrument, trust me. I mean, we're talking big name guitarists like Joe Satriani, Elliot Easton and Joe Bonamassa use this stuff, and a host of just big name guitar techs. This is in their bag or this is in their box that they carry with them, and it goes on every single guitar. In recent years, you know, the bigger companies have come along and released their mimics of this product to try to have something that they offer on their own. And as appealing as that may seem, none of those products have risen to the popularity of the original, the real deal, the first Big Ben's Nut Sauce. No one has been able to really duplicate this in an accurate way. I've even tried a few other products myself, and I can say that with Big Ben's, I have noticed a significant difference in the tuning of my instrument when I have applied this in the past. In fact, you can see a video right here on my channel from just 2 years ago when I first used it, first applied it to my Telecaster. I reported the next day on that video that I tuned my guitar, and I had just changed strings too. I had put some elixirs on, and I reported in that video that I tuned my guitar once before rehearsal and one other time during rehearsal, and that was it. Now, I have 5 electric guitars myself, all of which I use, and I guarantee, you know, at least 2 of them would not make it through, you know, half a rehearsal without tuning. In fact, the one that we're going to apply this to today really needs help in the tuning department, as it is a Gibson, and Gibsons are known to need the help from time to time. So we're going to take a look at this, and I'm going to show you how to apply this formula to your instrument today. So how does it work, you might say? Well, Massey found, you know, in years of trial and error and assessing tuning problems with guitars, he found almost all guitar tuning problems come from friction. Friction occurs on the pivotal points of hardware surfaces that have contact with the strings of the guitar, such as the nut, the bridge saddles, and string trees, like we mentioned earlier. So when friction happens, the string is not moving around the right way, and there's just something about this stuff and lubricating it a little bit that helps fix that. Now, a lot of guys will use, you know, mechanical pencil graphite, and I've heard that works for some. A lot of guys, I've heard of bass players actually using Vaseline. You know, I don't really know. But what I do know is that this is a product specifically developed for stringed instruments that has worked extremely well for me and for thousands of other people, and I really urge you to give it a try. This is to me it's brand new. It's not a brand new instrument, but to me it's brand new. This is my Gibson SG. Thank you, God. Shout out to my friend Jeff. Jeff is my anonymous guitar tech here in Florida, and he's a collector and a player, and he's a great guy. I did a gear trade with him, and made this happen. So big thanks to Jeff for doing an awesome trade with me. Jeff has one like this as well. But this is a 2013 Gibson SGJ. I have wanted a Gibson SG for many, many years. Everything on the guitar rocks. I mean, these are vintage style Kluson tuners with black pegs. And then we have, this nut is either synthetic bone or graphite, I can't tell right now. You know, we have the general Tune-O-Matic stop tail bridge. Just a really, really, really sweet instrument. The neck is a lot different than, you know, my other guitars, which are all Fender style guitars. So I'm really excited about this guitar, but it's not really holding tune right now, and I've noticed that the strings are looking pretty old and not looking like the highest quality strings I've seen. So we're going to change strings on it today. We're going to apply Big Ben's Nut Sauce, and we're going to tune it up and stretch the strings and play it and see if we can improve the tuning stability of this guitar. So the strings that I'll be installing today are MJC Ironworks electric guitar strings. These are really great strings. They are not coated strings. I often prefer coated, but lately with my electrics, I've been using more uncoated strings, and these are probably the best uncoated strings that I've come across so far. You know, they come in this tin, there's a sponge, so the corrosion process with these strings doesn't happen until you open the tin. So if you want to know more about MJC Ironworks and their great strings, you can check out my full review of these strings right here on the Rumbling Man channel. You can see a link above me right now for more info on these strings. They're great. So we're going to go up a gauge. I think that the strings that are on the Gibson feel like 9s. I kind of like 10s, so we're going to put 10s on, and I'm going to show you how we apply the nut sauce, and we're going to do this thing and see how it goes. Okay, so now we are here at my desk. So I actually saved you guys a little bit of having to watch. I went on and actually did the string change itself off camera, just so you wouldn't have to watch me change strings, and so that I could change the strings in the comfort of my living room rather than right here. And let me tell you something, changing the strings itself makes a difference. If your guitar or bass, if you're not happy with how it's playing and sounding, I always say this because it's proven true for me so many times. First thing you need to do is change the strings and see if that simple thing in itself helps anything. Now, in this case, it didn't solve the tuning problem completely. It helped a little bit, and I tried to stretch the strings a bit. But, these are beautiful strings. Just look at the great quality of these MJC Ironworks. I know that the camera's a little further away than I'd like it to be, but that's just kind of the setup I'm working with. But yeah, so the strings are changed. The MJCs are on. Now, a common myth with the Big Bends nut sauce is that you need to change it or apply it while you're changing the strings. That's actually not the case. In fact, they don't recommend to apply it before you change the strings. They recommend to apply it after you change the strings. The reason is several different things, but you could be winding strings, and you could have the installment of the sauce travel up toward the tuner instead of staying in the nut, various things like that. So what they recommend you do is go on and do your setup and your string change, and then install the stuff. And we do that by loosening the strings, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen the strings of this guitar and show you how we apply it. Now, the sauce itself will come with two different brushes. One of them has a smaller tip, which is for the nut slots, and the other one has a larger tip, which is for the bigger slots you may find at your bridge, or in some cases, a smaller tip for guitar and a bigger one for bass. Okay, so obviously a great product for both. So I'm going to loosen the strings real quick. All right, the strings are loosened. Now, as you may notice, this is one of the backward tilted headstocks, and this guitar does not have string trees. So we're going to apply it to the bridge saddles down here, and then the nut slots up here. Okay, so let's start with the bridge saddles down at the bottom. What I'm usually going to do is, these are actually pretty small slots. So I'm going to use the smaller of the two. We're going to take the cap off and then simply draw it back a little, and then kind of like you're giving somebody a shot. Just push it forward, and you don't want to get a whole lot. You really just need a little bit. I use a little more than most people, but not as much as some. So now it's on here, so I'm going to lift up the E. Put a little bit. Now when it comes to the bridge, they instruct that you really just put a little bit. You can do a little more at the nut, but you want just a little bit in the bridge. All right, so there's a little bit, the E string. Take a little bit off of that and put that little bit under the B string. Now, I personally like to, at least in terms of quantity, I like to at least be able to see that it's on there. Seeing is not always believing, but with guitars it helps, okay? Then under the G, then under the D, take a little bit of the excess off the A, put that under the E. And that's it. Okay, there's the bridge. Now we're going to do the nut, which is very vital for your tuning stability. So I'm going to slide the guitar down a little bit here. And now I'm going to hit, again with the smaller brush, the nut slots of each string. So you really, nut slots are usually going to be pretty small. So for electric guitar, you really just need a little bit. So I'm going to start with high E. All right, there's a little excess, so I'm going to take that off of there to put under the B. This process also might help with stretching your strings a little bit too. All right, and see, so it's just not a whole lot that you apply, but it's amazing. This little bit will really help your guitar. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wind the strings back up to where they're tight. All right, so while we're here, there's something else that I like to do, and that's this. I like to have a pretty lubricated fretboard Big Bends actually makes another fretboard lubricant treatment system that's really good. In fact, if you look in the description of this video, I'll just go in and list, the various guitar care products that I use. But I'm going to go on and just kind of wipe this over the strings. This is a simple Diodario product that can help your strings just kind of stay a little more moist and playable. I just don't like, I don't like running my fingers up and down a real dry fretboard. So at this point in time, the action looks pretty good. The neck's fine. We are restrung, so we're going to tune up, and I'm going to plug in and play. Let's see how it goes. So after I applied the nut sauce, my strings still needed to stretch a bit, so don't be discouraged if you're not holding tune perfectly at first. As for this Gibson, the nut sauce did make an improvement in the tuning stability, but not quite as much as it did with my Fenders. So I think there's something else to be addressed with this particular guitar. I'm probably going to upgrade the tuning machines or something like that. But overall, my experience with Big Bends nut sauce has been excellent in each scenario. So make sure you get some and use it on your instruments for improved tuning stability and less string breakage, as well as great sustain. So guys, I just want to thank you so much for watching this video today. Do me a favor, and if you enjoyed this content, got value out of it, go on and hit the thumbs up button so that YouTube will be more likely to include this video in searches and recommend it for people to watch. I hope it was helpful to you. And if you're not yet subscribed to the Rumbling Man channel, I invite you to go on and smash the subscribe button. Okay, I also have Patreon, but there's really no pressure for that. I'm just honored to have any support I can in any way. For a long time, for me, YouTube, was something that I approached with a business and competitive mindset, but those days are now over. And really what YouTube is going to be about here on the Rumbling Man channel is going to be helping people and just making videos I enjoy making that I think you'll think are cool too. So if you like products and you like guitar related videos, go on and subscribe. I'd love to have you along. Okay, God bless you guys. Thanks so much again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, peace.